guys. Welcome to Coffee Convos. Hi, Lindsay.
Hey, how are you?
I'm slightly stressed. You know that I went to do that dating show over the weekend, and I'm just like super jet lagged and kind of over it, you know?
Kale, first off, I have so many questions about that.
Oh, okay.
The first question is, who thought it was a good idea for you to go on the dating show? That's the first question.
Number one, MTV asked me to do it. I did not apply for this. This is something that came my way.
Oh my
So let's clarify that.
Okay. And number two, who were these people that you were dating?
I have no idea. I have no idea who they were.
Oh my God. Well, were they weird? Was it somebody that you would like normally like? I mean,
they were all very good energy and like fun. However, I don't think that I would date any of them in real life.
okay.
But it wasn't quite the experience. I'll say that.
Okay. Well, so I watched your thing and I honestly thought, I was like watching all of your Snapchats and I honestly thought it was like a ploy and like you did not tell me the truth. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's going on a dating show and like her and Becky are dating.
That would actually be clever. I think most people thought that Becky and I are dating because Becky just like tells people whatever they want to hear, like joking around. So like when people ask on her Instagram and stuff, she's like, yeah, we're dating. Meanwhile, she has a whole girlfriend. Like, that's just how she is. Like, we're not dating. We've never hooked up. She's one of my best friends. And like, literally, she's like just the sweetest, most fun person ever.
Well, she seems to be so fun. I really wanted to meet her when I was in New York, but I didn't get a chance to. So,
well, next time we do something, when we meet up for the podcast, she'll have to come and maybe she can do an episode.
Yes. But in other news, the episode of Teen Mom was on, and I'm pretty sure the text that you got in the car was probably for me. And
I think it was.
And you were like, I'm just not answering. Like, I'm just not going to say
Don't
it.
know what to say. Yeah. Don't know what to say.
Well, because when I first met Dom, like I just knew there was like something going on, but like we didn't know each other like that well to like come out and straight up ask. But I felt like I knew you well enough to be like, hey, are you dating somebody?
First of all,
yeah.
Did you see her Twitter over the weekend?
I did. Dom's Twitter was lit.
I never want to talk to her ever again. Like, I never want to see her. I never want to hear from her. Like, wish her the best, but stay the fuck away from me because her Twitter over the weekend literally reminded me of Javi and our friends when me and Javi divorced. So that's some energy that I'm going to stay away from.
Well, I never really like understood, and I know there's like stuff that'll play out on Teen Mom too. So I never really understood like how it fizzled out or even if you want to get into it or whatever. But what do they say? Like, let old dogs lie or whatever, like just like let it rest. I mean, if there's nothing good to come of it, like there's no need to talk about it. So I don't know.
I was married to someone for 5 years and never dogged him out or exposed him for a lot of the things that he did. So when he did that to me and then she tried to do that to me, I don't care how hurt you are. I've been there. Listen, I've been there when I was 18 years old and like me and Joe would fight back and forth on Twitter, but like I'm 26 now. I'm not going to do that anymore. Like I'm over the Twitter wars. I'm over it. Like literally after all the Teen Mom 2 drama that's been happening this whole year, like I'm just done. Like don't fight with me on Twitter because I'm not going to get into it with you.
Well, and I always like never really understand like the fighting on Twitter and stuff, like subtweets, like, okay, whatever. But just like the going back and forth, it's like, hey, you have a cellular device for that. Like pick it up and use it because not everybody needs to be involved in what's going on between two people. I don't know.
I just think she was doing some ignorant shit. So,
there's that. And
right. Moving on.
Moving on to the next thing. I was hoping that Lincoln would not shy out and come
I know
on the podcast tonight, but I get it. He's waiting for Isaac. So I was going to ask him, how does he feel about having another baby?
So I'm going to let him tell you when Isaac doesn't know. So I'll have to tell Isaac before the next podcast. But from what I understand, he's excited. He says that he thinks it's going to be a girl because he was right about baby Lux being a boy. So he thinks that he's going to have a little sister.
Okay. So do you think that they already know and already told him, or?
From what Javi told me, he is doing a gender reveal. So can I just get into that really fast? Because
yes.
if one more media outlet asks me for my comments on their baby, I'm literally just going to turn my phone off. So over the weekend, it was my weekend with the kids, but I was going away for the dating show, right? So Javi had been asking me, please, can I have Lincoln, whatever. I'm going away. And he wanted Lincoln to be able to see his cousins. So I was a little apprehensive because Javi only agrees to do certain things when it benefits him. And so like, if I were to do that, he wouldn't always agree to like, let me have him. There are times when he does, but anyway. So he's like, I agreed. I said, you know what, despite Lauren going, because we did have this 6-month rule where we're not introducing anybody to our kids for 6 months. I put that aside because his cousins were going to be there. Like the distraction of his cousins would probably take away, like Lauren wouldn't be too invested in Lincoln.
Right.
So then I went to go pick up Lincoln on Monday. And I said, when I got back, and I asked Javi was like, oh, I'll be there when you pick him up, blah, blah, blah. And I said, is Lauren pregnant? I said, is Lauren pregnant? And he's like, no. I said, are y'all getting married? And he said, no. And then I let it go. And then hours later, I called him and I'm like, is Lauren pregnant? And he steps outside. He's like, let me step outside. So he steps outside and he's like, yes, Lauren is pregnant. Lincoln saw a picture of the ultrasound and I told him that, Lauren has a baby in her belly. So I'm like, okay, he's just finding out, like, whatever. I think it's a little too soon to tell Lincoln. I didn't really know the whole thing. So I'm like, kind of like letting it all soak in, right?
Right.
So then today I get online and he did the announcement, right? So I'm confused.
I saw the announcement with Lincoln in the front.
So my biggest thing is I have, truthfully, Lindsay, I have no feelings towards them being pregnant. Like, I'm not mad. I'm not sad. I'm not happy. Like, I literally wish them the best. And like, that's it. Like, I don't have any feelings one way or the other, Right. What does bother me is that I feel like Javi used Lincoln and the cousins as a way to get Lincoln there to do the pregnancy photos instead of just being honest with me about it. Hey, Kale, because he did an article today that I read. I read it and it says, oh, I was nervous to tell Kale, but I had already told Lincoln I didn't want Lincoln to spill the beans. No, you literally told me the day before because you didn't want me to leak it or you didn't want, Lincoln to tell me the day before you're about to announce it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he used the cousins being in town as a way to get Lincoln there for the family photos for the pregnancy announcement. I would have respected it more had he came to me and said, hey, Kale, Lauren is pregnant and can I please have Lincoln for the photos? And I would have said yes, because I'm going out of town anyway. I just feel like when you go around it and then you tell me, oh, Lincoln saw the photo, so I told him that Lauren's having a baby. No, Lincoln held the photos for the pictures that y'all took. I don't know, that whole like dishonesty thing really, that's what bothered me.
Well, and I think just like as part of like co-parenting too, that it's just like a line that you don't blur, that when you start going down a path of being dishonest, then it causes questions for like other things, right? So
right.
There's just no need. If you are grown enough to get somebody pregnant, then you're grown enough to tell somebody else that you had previously gotten pregnant and married to, like, hey, this is what's going on. And like, obviously it's not the ideal situation or whatever, but this is the situation and I would like to do an announcement and, can we discuss about Lincoln being involved in it? Because,
right.
That is going to be his sibling, just like Lux and Isaac are his siblings. That's going to be his sibling, so.
Right. Okay. So let's stop for a second so I can tell you guys about these Brooklinen bed sheets. There's nothing better than sleep. You guys know that. Anytime you are stressed or, the kids are driving you nuts, just take a nap, But these sheets are a game changer because it's like luxury bed sheets in my own room.
Founded in April of 2014 by husband and wife team Vicky and Rich Fulop. Their philosophy, the most beautiful, comfortable home essentials, no crazy prices, no unnecessary markups or fees. Most bedding is marked up as much as 300%. Like, that's seriously crazy. Who doesn't need good quality sleep? Brooklinen skips the middleman, so you get luxury sheets without the big markup in price. Why not give it a try? I really like the sheets. When I ordered mine, they got here super fast. They feel like, seriously, hotel sheets that are like at a boutique style hotel. I love them. I use them every week on my bed. I have 2 sets and I alternate them. And both of mine are white so that they can be bleached, but they do have like some awesome pattern ones too if you're more of a pattern girl or boy.
I was literally just about to say that, like, just like hotel sheets. So good. So Brooklinen is the fastest growing bedding brand in the world. Over 12,000 5-star reviews. Brooklinen sheets named the winner of the best online bedding category by Good Housekeeping. Versatile colors and patterns. You can mix and match patterns too, so you can try different styles together. It's super fun. And if you haven't already, you have to try these sheets. You have to listen to us.
Seriously, I am like so weird about sheets and like fabrics and stuff like that on my beds. Like, I only will buy good bedding, and I tried these kind of like on a whim and was like, you know what, I'm just going to try them, and have been super happy with them. So if you are like that, then it's definitely worth a try. My Brooklinen sheets are the best, most comfortable sheets I've ever slept on. Brooklinen.com has an exclusive offer just for our listeners. Get $20 off and free shipping when you use promo code COFFEE at brooklinen.com.
Brooklinen is so confident that they offer a risk-free 60-night satisfaction guarantee and a lifetime warranty on all their sheets and comforters. The only way to get $20 off and free shipping is to use our promo code COFFEE at brooklinen.com. That's BROOKLINEN.com, promo code COFFEE. Brooklinen, these are the best sheets ever. Let's get back to it.
I don't know. I saw it on Facebook and I was like, oh my gosh, I honestly couldn't believe it because I was reading on Twitter too about questions that you had asked. People have questions for the podcast and whatnot, and it was repetitive. People wanted to know about the situation, which I feel like you've pretty much clarified. But also people wanted to know the timeline. And I think
I know. You know what? Lindsay, that's one thing that I'm not going to get into because I literally am mind fucked with the timeline because I know what the timeline is and the shit's a little messy.
Well, and a lot of people were saying on there too that, I mean, I saw the picture and I thought she looked like a cute pregnant girl.
Oh yeah, the pictures were cute. I'll give them that. They did I know the photographer, John Lloyd, he's a decent guy. I mean, he's lived in Dover as long as I've been here, probably longer. The pictures were cute.
They looked super cute and super happy. So happy for them. But she just looked way more pregnant than what I expect. I wasn't expecting the picture, but if I did see an announcement, I thought that she would have been like smaller. So she looks like she's probably 4 months pregnant is what it looks like to me. But some people were saying she looked like she was like 5 or 6 months pregnant.
I don't think she's 5 or 6. I think I'm just speculating here. This is all speculation. I want to say between 3 and 4 months.
Okay. Well, you and I both know. Never mind. I'm just not even going to get into the timeline.
But like I said, pictures are cute. I wish them the best. Obviously, Lincoln's excited. I want to be excited for him. When Lincoln came home, I asked him, "You're going to be a big brother again?" He said, "Yeah." Like, he's excited. We're keeping, that energy for Lincoln because he doesn't need to know all the drama and the
Well,
bullshit.
I mean, that's only fair, let him be excited and let him be happy.
Right.
And any of the drama I don't even think there's going to be any drama because it's not even like that anymore.
No, I don't feel like that either.
You know, it's like a blast from the past. Like,
for sure.
You know, awesome. Like you're having a baby. So that's kind of funny though, because Isaac has a little sister. You have like the 3 boys, and then Isaac has another sibling. And then will Lauren live with Javi, or do they already live together, or what's the?
I think Javi's probably going to kill me for even saying this, but I think she's going to move here.
Okay. Well, that would only make another sense.
State. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you have a kid together, you kind of, live together or something.
Or something.
I don't know. Something like along those lines. I wanted to tell you like this quick story, and then we have a guest, but, I went and had my nails done, like rushing around to do it and get there. And I don't know why I have like these weird nail experiences, or why people think that like I just want to talk to them. Cause when I go to the nail place, like I don't mean to sound rude, but I go for quiet time, like away from Will talking my ear off and then Jackson talking my other ear off. So I'm just like, I just want to sit here and relax and like chill.
Yeah.
And every single time these people always talk to me, and it's always like random people that I've never seen before. And I go and sit down, and one lady on one side of me starts talking, and then she gets up and leaves, and I'm like, "Ooh, awesome. She left." And then I look over to the left, and there's sitting somebody else there, and I'm like, oh my God, this looks like a chatty Cathy. Like, she's going to start. So then she started talking, and literally she never shut up, like from the time she sat down until the time she got up. And she was telling like the nail tech about like all of this weird stuff that I was just completely uncomfortable with. Like,
wait, so she's talking to the nail person, or she's talking to you?
So it's like a 3-way conversation she's trying to have here. And I'm just like, okay, this is just getting a little too much for me. And then she started talking about like this infection that she got in her eye. And then she had some type of like infection that was like inside her body. And then the next thing I know, she's talking about her vagina. And I'm just like, you know what?
Fuck no, baby.
You're at the nail place, and why are we having this conversation? I will never know.
That would just make me never want to go sit in that same pedicure bowl, because she probably has infection in the water.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you know what? I think I just need to open a nail place. Like, I really...
Right, with like extra sanitary procedures.
Yes. And I was like, you know what? When I get home, I'm going to get out my podcast equipment. I'm going to talk to Kale about this business venture, because I think it's something that we really need to do. We need to open a nail place.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Maybe people can send us like ideas. If we did open a nail place, what would it be called? We call it? Would it be like Tips and Toes, or is that too basic?
Tippy Toes. Tips and Toes is cute.
It's kind of cute.
That is kind of cute.
Let's take a minute to talk about one of our all-time favorites, BioClarity. You guys know that I can't get enough of this stuff. For me, BioClarity is just something that I enjoy using on a daily basis just to keep my skin clean and fresh. I use the Essentials routine. Just my skin is more normal, and right now with it being summer, it's getting a little bit more on the dry side. So the skin smoothie is something that I'm really addicted to right now. I probably put it on my face like 3 times a day. Whether you are looking for a clear skin regimen or just healthy skincare routine, BioClarity has y'all covered in just 3 easy steps. They now offer 2 skincare routines. The clear skin routine, which is the one that Kale uses, proven to fight acne, soothe skin, reduce pore size, and minimize redness. And the Essentials routine, which is what I use for normal, dry, or dehydrated skin. Both of these routines contain nourishing plant extracts, chamomile, green tea, cucumber, and licorice root.
So like Lindsay said, I'm using the clear skin routine, and I love the way that it reduces my pore size. I don't know why, but they're so big. I feel like one of the girls on Mean Girls. BioClarity products. Did you ever see that scene when she's like, my pores suck? Like, that's me. So
of course.
BioClarity products are loaded with soothing ingredients and Floralux. Floralux is a clever form of chlorophyll, which is proven for soothing away blemishes. Floralux has antioxidant, healing, and anti-inflammatory properties that feed your skin from the outside in. It's like green juice for your face. So get started on healthier habits with your skincare by going to bioclarity.com, and our listeners will get their first month for 50% off a routine plus free shipping. And it comes with a 100% risk-free money-back guarantee, but you have to enter our code COFFEE. That's bioclarity.com and enter our code COFFEE.
While we're going down the path of business ventures, the most common question that we have received, just from all platforms like Instagram, Twitter, whatever, is about us doing multiple episodes a week. And I think that you guys will be excited. We have ideas in the works and things that we can't like talk about because we don't really know where the podcast is going or what our next step is with the podcast. But I don't know that it's going to be the route of 2 podcasts per week. We're discussing live options maybe.
Oh, that's going to be so fun.
So just hang tight. We're giving you like what we can give you as of right now, but there is more to come. And we're talking about merchandising and doing other things that you guys have requested. So if you'll just be patient, it will be here when the time is right.
Fuck yeah.
Kale.
Lindsay hates when I curse. It's fine.
Yeah, explicit. Thanks. Okay, so a lot of questions that we received over between Mother's Day, leading up to Mother's Day and Mother's Day weekend, was the talks about infertility. And neither of us really have had that issue. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that can't relate to our stories on some levels because, you know, anytime Kill wants to blink and get pregnant, she does.
I did have issues before Lux. Like I really did. I had multiple miscarriages, but we never really found like what that cause was.
Right.
So my doctor was like, be thankful you have 2 boys and, you know, whatever happens, happens. And we never really did further testing, but, you know, we just did like the basic testing and everything was fine. So I don't know. You've never had like infertility issues, right?
No, luckily, knock on wood, no. But, you know, I know that it's way more common than what I thought.
People think about. Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, when I was trying to conceive, one of my friends had gotten pregnant before me and had just had a baby. It was like November. She was literally a year older than Jackson, but she had just been born. And I was trying to conceive and I got pregnant on the 2nd month. But after the 1st month that I didn't get pregnant, I don't know. I just I hear all of these stories about people, you know, having these hookups or whatever, and then just getting pregnant and it being what they call an accident or whatever. I felt like I tried for the 1st month and was like actively trying to conceive and then nothing happened. So then I started getting worried because, you know, my personality. And right. I was like, oh my gosh, what if I'm going to be, you know, a person that has fertility issues? Like, what will I do? Like, I don't know if I can mentally handle that. So, yeah, I got pregnant, luckily, the next month. So, you know, everything was fine. But I do know a lot of people who are listening that are women that are trying to conceive or have had fertility issues, would like to hear from somebody who has struggled with infertility. And my friend Megan has decided to come on the podcast. And she also has a podcast that I would like to be able to send you guys to so that you can listen to stories about her journey, because she won't be able to tell it all tonight, but it will be an outlet for moms to be able to go to, or future mothers to be able to go to be able to relate. Okay, so we're going to bring Megan on the podcast and let her tell her story and talk about her podcast as well. So Megan?
Yeah. Hey. Sorry, I wasn't sure if that was my time to come on.
Hi, Megan.
Hi, y'all. Sorry. Rookie over here. Rookie move.
Well, you do podcasts, so
I should be more natural at this, but you know, you win some, you lose some. But yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I am Megan Smalley, and I live in the huge city of Auburn, Alabama, with my husband, who is a coach. So the coach's wife life is no joke. I do a lot of the year by myself, but it's a good life. And So just kind of a little backstory on us, but we've been married for 6.5 years now, and never really anticipated having trouble getting pregnant. I guess it's just not something I ever really thought of. I'm one of 4 siblings. My parents had no issues getting pregnant. Popped babies out like it was their job. And so I just kind of assumed it would be easy for us. I think a lot of women that have trouble oftentimes anticipate it because there's symptoms ahead of time, whether or not they're like regular with their periods or they're just some sort of symptom. They might have endometriosis symptoms, but that wasn't the case for me. So I just didn't see this coming. And so we started trying, and I just expected it to be easy, and it wasn't. And 6 months went by, and we just decided to move forward with testing. And we met with our fertility specialist, and we started the preliminary testing with our OB, and that, just showed signs that we needed to see a specialist. So we ended up sitting down with our fertility specialist, and he told us that IVF was going to be our only option to get pregnant. And that was just a total shot to the gut. I mean, I was shocked. And I just remember sitting there. I was 27 at the time, thinking, how is this my life? Like, is this a joke? Like, please wake me up from this dream. This cannot be real. Like I said, I'm a coach's wife. My husband's a teacher, and we don't have the kind of money for IVF, and much less multiple rounds. And
not to interrupt you, Megan, but was this before you started your business or like in the midst of it all?
So this was like right in the middle of, I had started Scarlet and Gold on the side. I was in full-time pharmaceutical sales at the time. And this was actually right in the middle of the transition period between when I had gotten laid off from my pharmaceutical job and then was really ramping up Scarlet and Gold and deciding to do that full-time. So it was just kind of a whole season of uncertainty. But yeah, it was right around that time. So I just remember sitting there thinking, how is this my life? I never would have guessed this, but we decided to move forward with it. And if you've never walked through infertility issues or know somebody that has, IVF is super expensive. So not only
and just hard on your body.
Yeah. So not only draining physically and emotionally, but it's also financially draining. Like the first round cost us $15,000. No insurance coverage.
And you're not guaranteed to even have a baby from that.
Yeah. And so that, like, it's hard to really explain why it's so hard to somebody who doesn't get it, but like, you're putting all your eggs in that basket. You're putting it all out there financially, emotionally, physically. And when it doesn't work, it's just
devastating. That's
devastating. The most devastating thing in the entire world. Like, we thought this was our one shot. And I mean, we don't have $15,000 to just throw at this multiple times. And so all that to say, we did it. We took the money out of our savings account. I'll never forget writing that check. And it's just one of those moments that's like, this is supposed to be free. Like, it's not supposed to cost people $15,000 to have a baby. And it's not only supposed to be free, it's supposed to be fun. Like, people talk about, this is our honeymoon baby or, whatever. And it's like, that's not at all what it looks like for me.
This was just, we had sex last Wednesday and had the baby.
Yes, I'm like, wait, what? I can't relate at all. There was no sort of romance whatsoever at the conception of my children. But
okay, so let's take a quick break. Get it? Quip. Okay. I want to tell you guys about what has been called. Wasn't that a good joke?
It was a good joke.
So I want to tell you guys about what's been called the Apple, Warby Parker, and Tesla of toothbrushes, the Quip. So when it comes to your health, brushing your teeth is one of the most important parts of your day. We all know that. Like, the first thing everyone does in the morning is brush your teeth. So Quip knows that too, and they've combined dentistry and design to make a new and better electronic toothbrush that packs just the right amount of vibrations into a slimmer, sleeker design at a fraction of the cost of a bulkier traditional electric toothbrush.
For me, the best thing about using Quip is that it has like the cover that you can put on top of the toothbrush to
keep
travel with.
Yeah, like sanitary.
I think it's so nasty whenever you're traveling and you just have like a regular toothbrush. I honestly weirdly never thought about it before until I got the Quip toothbrush, and I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. I like that, and I like that the brush head can be like easily removed, and it's not like bulky like other electric toothbrushes that take up like half of your cosmetic bag because they're so big. There are no chargers or wires, which means that Quip is compact and light, makes brushing twice a day super easy. And I'm also wearing a retainer, so it does make it nice, like whenever I go out and eat somewhere, that I can pack it in my bag and then just brush my teeth before I put my retainer back in, because that's kind of like weird. It's easy to travel at home, keep at home, on the go. It comes with a wireless mount that suctions right to your mirror and unsticks to use as a cover for hygienic travel anywhere, anytime. And because things that clean your mouth should also be clean, Quip subscription plan refreshes your brush on a dentist recommended schedule, delivering new brush heads every 3 months for just $5, including free shipping worldwide.
So Quip is backed by a network of over 10,000 dental professionals, including dentists, hygienists, and dental students. So most toothbrushes don't get named one of Times Magazine's best inventions of the year, but Quip did. So find out for yourself. Quip starts at just $25. So if you go to getquip.com/coffee right now, you'll get your first refill pack for free with a Quip electric toothbrush. So that's your first refill pack for free at getquip.com/coffee, spelled GETQUIP.com/coffee. Let's get back to the show.
So like we decided to move forward, and we actually went to a clinic in Georgia, and it was a terrible experience. I'll spare you all the details. You can listen to my full story on our Give Grace podcast, but it was a nightmare. They overdosed me on the medicine. I ended up not needing as much as they gave me, and so it basically fried my eggs. And
what?
Yeah, it was terrible. And so, like, we got 3 embryos, which, for those of you who don't know the IVF lingo, that's like when they take the sperm and the egg and make the embryo. And they were all really weak because they told me I had bad eggs. And so we transferred all 3 of them. And in the same call that the doctor called to tell me I wasn't pregnant, he told me that I needed donor eggs. And so it was just a devastating summer of like epic proportions.
So donor eggs means it would be your husband's biologically, but not yours biologically.
But not mine, correct. Yes, which ended up not being the case at all. Like my eggs were fine, which is a whole nother side story. But note, if you're walking through infertility, I am a big proponent of a second opinion. I wish, like the first time around with IVF, I kind of went in blind and had the mentality of like, I'm just going to trust my doctor, and, you know,
Sure.
Ignorance is bliss. And I have a lot of regrets about that, because
I don't think that you're the only, not to cut you off, but I don't think that you're the only one that would feel that way though. I mean, how many of us put our trust and faith into our doctors and don't feel like we would need a second opinion? You know what I mean? So I don't think that you're alone in that.
And I've just learned through the process that I've realized, like, no matter what the issue is medically, you can go to 10 different doctors and get 10 different opinions. Mm-hmm. And I've also learned, like, you have to be your own advocate. So all that to say, get a second opinion. I wish I would have the first time around. It would have saved us a lot of money and a lot of heartache. And we ended up going, just to make the story short, 2 years later, through my business, my staff did a fundraising campaign. It's called the Give Grace campaign, to raise the money for us to do IVF again. And we ended up going to a clinic in Colorado. It's called CCRM, and seeing Dr. Schoolcraft, who is a world-renowned fertility specialist. And we now have our twin boys, who are total miracles.
Oh, wow.
And I just am so overwhelmed with gratefulness every time I look at them, because we were told it wasn't going to happen. And yes, they are biologically mine and my husband's. I did not need donor eggs.
And how old are they?
They are 9, I guess almost 10 months old. So.
Oh, wow. So when is their birthday?
August 8th.
Okay.
Yep.
My youngest is August 5th.
Oh, so fun. Gosh.
Yeah. Congratulations. It's so crazy to think about just like the whole journey and like what you've been through, because I feel like, to your point earlier in your story and your journey was, I've had multiple miscarriages, and I don't think that from my first son, Isaac, 8 years ago, when I was carrying him, when I found out I was pregnant, miscarriage never crossed my mind.
Right.
And then same for Lincoln, like miscarriage never crossed my mind, even when I found out I was pregnant. So after Lincoln, when I had a miscarriage for the first time, I was like, oh my, like I didn't expect it. It's not what I thought would happen. It's not how I thought it would happen. You know what I mean? So I think that, and it does happen so much more frequently than we would ever think.
Yeah. And I think the hard part is like, we all envision our life a certain way. And when it turns out differently than that, it's just like a shot to the gut. Like, wait, this was not my plan. This was not, like I say all the time, I'm part of this infertility club that I never would have chosen to be a part of. And I don't wish anybody else to be a part of it, but it's become part of who I am. It's a part of my story. And I don't, looking back, I'm thankful for it, because I feel like, and I don't know if you would say the same, but I'm a different mom and I'm a different wife and I'm just a different person overall because of what I've walked through. I feel like I have a new level of empathy for what people are walking through because of my journey. So, but yeah, it's not something you ever expect.
I have several friends that have gone through IVF, you being one of them, but several. And sometimes when Jackson gives me a hard time on days and I'm just like, oh my gosh, your dad can't get home from work like soon enough, I think about you guys and think about, wow, like that could have been me, and it's so sad. And to like not know how to communicate with moms that have been through it, because I don't have the same story. So I don't know like what's socially appropriate to, like ask, or how to even talk to somebody who's been through something like that.
Yeah. And I think that's the hard thing is like, I just learned through our journey is that people don't know what to say. And so they get awkward and don't say anything at all. And that's kind of become my platform, is like educating women on how to love people in the struggle, because I get it. Like I was that person not that long ago. Like I'm sure I said all the wrong things, did all the wrong things because I just didn't know. And I think the biggest thing is just to say something and to say, like, to be honest and say, like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to love you through this. I don't know how to support you in this. So how can I encourage you? How can I be there for you? What can I do? And recognizing too that you can't take the pain away. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a fixer by nature, and I think I can always fix the problem. I look at everything like a problem that needs to be solved. And when someone's suffering and in pain and has a lot of heartache, my natural tendency is just to want to fix it and to take that pain away. But recognizing that you can't, like nothing I can say or do is going to fix this.
Right.
So that takes the pressure off a little bit. Like I cannot be the savior. I am not going to be able to change what's going on. My job is to come alongside this person and just love on them and encourage them. I think that kind of eases the burden of feeling like you have to say the right thing. And just saying, like, I think acknowledging it, like, hey, I know you're walking through this and it sucks. Like, just acknowledge the fact that it sucks. So many people want to put a positive spin on things, and that's great. But some things just have no positive spin. Like walking through infertility, having a miscarriage, losing a baby, losing a child, like it flat out sucks. There's no other way around it. And it's horrible. So say that, like, I'm so sorry you're walking through this. That sucks. And I hate it for you. Well, how can I support you in this? How can I love you? How can I encourage you? What do you need from me? Things like that. I mean, just simply asking, I think, is helpful. But that's very normal to feel that way.
You guys have heard us talk about FrameBridge before, so you know they make it super easy and affordable to custom frame your favorite things, anywhere from prints and posters to photos on your phone. But did you know that a custom frame photo from FrameBridge makes the perfect gift for Father's Day, and it's super easy? You can order it in a few minutes, and FrameBridge will send a one-of-a-kind frame picture that your dad or your husband or whoever you're celebrating for Father's Day would absolutely love. That perfect gift for him is already on your phone. You can just upload the photo and order by Sunday, June 10th for a guaranteed free delivery in time for Father's Day.
So here's how it works. You go to framebridge.com, you pick a good photo. The expert team at FrameBridge will frame it and send it straight to you, or they can deliver straight to, that special guy for Father's Day. But you have to place your order by Sunday, June 10th. So you can preview your item online in any frame style, choose your favorite, or get a free recommendation from their talented designers. And the amazing team there will expertly frame it in days, not weeks or months, and deliver your finished gift ready to hang. So the best part is, instead of the $100 you'd pay at a framing store, the prices start at $39 and all the shipping is free.
And honestly, what I really like about FrameBridge is that it's a lot cheaper than going to, like specialized framing stores.
Mm-hmm.
And I have gotten so many pictures from framing stores and stuff like that over time. And I realize, I'm not going to have them on my wall forever. So, the hundreds of dollars that I've spent on some frames, they're just as good, if not better, from FrameBridge. So our listeners will get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when they use our code COFFEE. FrameBridge has thousands of 5-star reviews and even offers a happiness guarantee. If, for any reason, you aren't 100% satisfied with your order, they'll make it right.
So order your custom gift for the dad or special guy that you're celebrating in your life right from your phone. Go to framebridge.com and use promo code COFFEE, and you'll save an additional 15% off your order. That's framebridge.com, promo code COFFEE, framebridge.com, promo code COFFEE.
Coming from somebody who didn't have, infertility issues or whatever, I feel like you almost, I guess for me, I almost feel like selfish for like asking questions, because obviously like maybe you don't want to answer them, or maybe you think, well, why is she asking? Because, she doesn't have those problems. So like, why does she care and stuff like that? It's like, I genuinely do care. And I have 3 friends that have gone through, full IVF, and all have successfully had children, through IVF.
Yeah. And I love that we're having this conversation, this dialogue, because it's cool to see and hear both sides of the story. Like for me, I will say this, everyone handles it differently and everyone needs something differently in the midst of it. But for me, when people ask questions, it showed me that they cared. And
I agree.
I think the biggest thing to always go back to is saying something is so much better than saying nothing, even
nothing
if you say
all.
the wrong thing. Like people said the wrong things all the time to me, but I knew that they cared. Like,
right. It came from like a place of caring, not necessarily to be ignorant or anything. They just they wanted to help and didn't know how.
So I think like just knowing in your heart of hearts that your friend is going to know that you care and asking questions. I'm a question asker. I come by it honest. My mom, she like can't do awkward silence. So she just comes up with questions all the time. It's bad. But anyways, so that's kind of how I love on people, is I try to meet them where they are. And there's like, I've walked through infertility, but there's so many struggles that I know nothing about. And I think that's how you can gain empathy for what people are walking through, is by asking questions and just preface it by saying, if you don't want to answer, it's fine. Like, it's not going to hurt my feelings. If you tell me I don't want to talk about it.
One time I was sitting at, I believe it was Chick-fil-A, and there was this, at playgrounds and stuff, women will start talking, and there was this lady there that was going through the process of IVF, but also had another child with her. So I don't know if that child was, conceived via IVF or not, but this other woman I could just hear her like asking all the wrong questions, and I don't know if I took it as she was like being nosy, but maybe it was like coming from a place of care. She didn't know this woman from Adam, but she was asking, well, when you guys did the testing, did you find out who was the problem?
Oh, gosh.
And I feel like that would be the hardest thing for me if I had to go through fertility treatments, like feeling like if I was, the so-called problem, I would feel so much guilt.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's relatable too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a heavy burden. And that, number one, if you don't know the person at all, you shouldn't ask the questions. Like rule number one. But because it is coming from a place of nosiness. And I will say, people ask me all the time, like, do twins run in your family? And I'm like, no, they're fertility twins. Like that's what you're asking, right?
Right.
But if you don't know the person, don't ask the question. But I feel like playing the blame game, unlike a lot of struggles in life, fertility has the tendency to separate marriages and couples because of this. Like, because I can't tell you how many people ask, like, well, whose fault is it? Mm-hmm. And like, no matter how hard Blake and I tried to never walk down that road of playing the blame game, people make it so easy and like suck you into this trap because they ask that all the time. And it's like, well, it's nobody's fault. Like, nobody would choose this for their life. Nobody did anything to deserve this. Like, we live in a fallen world, and it's just part of the world that we live in. And that's just horrible. Like, I mean, I hate that people even ask that question, but it's so true. And I think it just compounds the entire situation that you're in.
Of course, I was the mom that was like not having a conversation with either of these ladies. I was just like supervising Jackson and like eavesdropping on the conversation. And when I heard that, I feel like my eyes were like as like big as saucer. Yes.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Because I was just like, who asked that at a playground? You don't even know this lady. Like, if this was your best friend and you were having on like a full-on conversation, first off, I hope it wouldn't be at a playground. But if it was, that's just not a question that I feel like should have been asked. So that was one experience that I just kind of overheard.
And I think that goes for everything in general. Like, I've learned in motherhood that people just come up to you and give completely unwarranted advice, unsolicited 100%, advice.
Yes.
It's like that in infertility too. I mean, people just need to learn how to shut their mouth. And it's really unfortunate and sad, especially when somebody's walking through a struggle, because, I have a good friend who's walking through it now. And I mean, it's just constant. Like, when y'all are next? Like, anytime she's holding a baby, like, oh my gosh, like, when is it going to happen for y'all? You're next. I'm just waiting for the announcement, because people don't know what she's walking through. Right. And she's on and on and on. And I mean, she just feels like when she's in public, she's dying inside because she's having to put on this brave face because nobody knows. And people are just throwing these comments at her. And it's just like a constant dagger to the chest, like over and over again. And I think the lesson of the day is just that people need to be more mindful about what they say. You just never know what somebody might be walking through.
Okay. So here's the problem with Father's Day. The man in your life isn't going to tell you what to get him. And the truth is, he might not even know what he wants. So I know that the baby's dad probably won't even say that he wants anything, but we're going to get him a man crate, probably the knife making kit.
I am going to actually order Will
the salami bouquet. I knew it.
Because I actually want to try it, and I always like get in on the gifts that I give him. And I really want to just like take a picture of the salami bouquet to say I actually bought one. Buying a cool gift for your guy can feel impossible. You can search forever for something he either doesn't want or already has, but all that's about to change. This Father's Day, give him a gift he is guaranteed to love with Man Crate's hand-picked and packaged gifts for every type of dad, like the knife-making kit that Kale likes for the hands-on dad, or the whiskey appreciation crate for fathers who like the finer things.
With Man Crates, you're giving dad more than a gift. You're giving him a gift experience unlike any other. Plus, every Man Crate comes with 100% satisfaction guarantee. Get your special Father's Day discount today at mancrates.com/combos. This is a limited time offer only for Father's Day, so go today. That's mancrates.com/combos. mancrates.com/combos. I had, so when I found out I was pregnant with Isaac, I was really young and obviously it wasn't planned. And I have a cousin who, she had been married for years and was like actively trying and had just found out that she was pregnant, through IVF. And when I went to tell her that I was pregnant, she broke down and cried like, you didn't even plan this. And, here you are pregnant and I've been trying for years. And it was just like one of those things where like, at the time I was like, this isn't like, I can't control that either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it was one of those things. So then later on, it wasn't until I miscarried multiple times for me to really understand where she was coming from, because one of my best friends and I actually were pregnant at the same time, and she carried to term and I ended up losing mine. And so when I saw her for the first time, she was big pregnant and I was going through the miscarriage. So I was like, why? Like, I didn't understand how she was, she got to keep hers and I didn't get to keep mine. And then it flashed me back to when I found out I was pregnant with Isaac and my cousin had such a hard time. And I think you're right. I think, people don't know what to say. People don't know how to handle it. And then there's, whose fault is it? The whole nine. It's just the whole infertility thing is just so hard to like people tiptoe around it,
Yeah. And I think too, like, number one, so many people walk through it in silence. Like they don't tell anybody.
Right.
So
I didn't know my cousin
knows.
Yeah. I had no idea that my cousin was struggling. I had no idea until she broke down.
Yeah. And so there's like this expectation put on you that is unrealistic. And then two, like, there's just this stigma of like in that situation, it's easy to feel like, well, you're just not happy for me because you're jealous. Like you want what I have, or, people said that to me a lot. Well, you're just jealous. Like you want what she has. And it's like, no, it's really not. Like it's not
about jealousy.
Yeah. Mm-mm. I shouldn't have to defend how I feel. But it's just a reminder of the loss, like whether you've actually lost a baby or not, like it's still this loss that you feel. And it's a reminder of your brokenness. And it's not coming from a place of jealousy. It's a reminder of what should be. Like it should be fun. It should be easy. And it should be free. And it's not for me. And I have to mourn those things, and I should feel the freedom, especially with my close friends, to mourn. And it's like a bittersweet feeling. Every time I had a friend that told me they were pregnant, I cried 90% of the time. And I tried to communicate to them, like, I'm not crying because you're pregnant. I promise. Like, I'm so happy for you. It's just a bittersweet feeling. Like, I'm so happy for you, but it's a reminder of where I'm at. But I will say, like, being on your end, like, that's hard if you've never experienced these emotions or known anybody that has, it's so hard to know how to handle that. Like, if I hadn't walked this road and I was pregnant and one of my friends was walking through this and I told them I was pregnant and they cried, I would be like, what?
Yeah. What's your problem?
Yeah. And so it's just, I think, y'all having me on to talk about this, like, this is how change happens, is just talking about it and normalizing these things and being open about it, because the more people talk about it, the more people will know and understand how to handle these things. So,
well, I think just like having other people who have experienced loss or infertility too is, a lot of times people walk through it alone, like you said, and we're not, you know, people aren't talking about it. And so, you know, when you don't feel alone and you feel like there's someone that can relate to you, you're maybe, you know, that can help you through the journey.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's so easy to feel like I'm the only one, especially when you look around and see all of your friends that are pregnant and you just feel so alone. But knowing that you're not alone and that there are other people out there walking this road, it just makes it a little bit easier and the burden feel a little lighter.
Well, and we received the question so many times over direct message. I mean, I would venture to say hundreds of messages in regards to it. And, you know, how long did it take us to conceive, and just questions like that. And then did we have any fertility issues, and can we talk about miscarriage and loss and whatever. And, you know, I personally, thank God I can't, but I thought of you when I started getting those messages, and I was like, we've got to have her on the podcast, because then you created a podcast to be able to talk to other moms and to be able to, you know, relate for people going along the journey too. So that's just not something that, you know, it's not really our platform, but I would like to help people be able to get to somebody that is their platform.
For sure.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, this is not a club I would have chosen to be a part of, or a story that I would have ever wished upon myself, but I'm thankful to be here. And I just have such a heart for people walking this road because of my story. So we did start the Give Grace podcast. You can find it on iTunes. But it's a place to encourage people to find joy and community in life's hardest season. So it's not just specifically about infertility. It's about all struggles that women walk through in life. But I hope that it's a place that encourages people and that also shines a light on these hard things and talks people through how to love somebody. Like if you know somebody who's walking through this, we talk about things like addiction and chronic health issues, secondary infertility, eating disorders. So how do you love somebody going through that? So yeah, I'm thankful for my story.
You guys talk about marriage too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And how, I mean, all these things can affect marriage. So
Lord, I'm going to tune into that one.
Marriage is no joke.
I told Kale this morning that I swear tonight's going to be the night that I shave Will's head while he's sleeping.
Well, when she texted me that, I thought she meant like she was like, he asked her to shave his head. And she said no in his sleep. I said, okay, send pics.
Send pics. More like a video, please.
Right. Like, please, I need to see this.
He's for real tested every ounce of patience and nerve that I have over the last 4 days. This joker decided that it was a good idea to take a Friday off going into a holiday weekend. So I got the joy of hanging out with him from Friday through Tuesday morning.
That sounds like my life. I tell everyone we go from like 0 to 60 because 6 months out of the year, Blake works all the time. Like he leaves the house at 6:30 and gets home at 9 o'clock. And then 6 months of the year, he's home a lot. And so it's an adjustment period. I remember my in-laws, like my father-in-law works from home. And when we were engaged, I was at their house and my mother-in-law, here comes my father-in-law up the stairs. He works from home in the basement and he heard her come in. So he comes upstairs and she's like, oh my gosh, like here he comes again. And I remember thinking, oh, that's so sad. Like she doesn't want to eat lunch with him. And now I get it. I'm like, she's like, I'm never in the house alone, ever.
Oh man.
I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get it now. Just having a second alone.
I'm just like, Will, go somewhere. And now he's taken a new job to where he has like this work from home option that he's exercised quite frequently lately.
Oh, good.
And I'm just like, hey, Will, I'm going to need you to figure it out. Like you need to get an office and be stationary somewhere because I don't. And he's like, well, this isn't just your house. And I'm like, Will, but it is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. It is.
It's yours. Oh, man.
It's
Can't
an
relate.
adjustment for sure.
Kale said it can't relate.
Can't relate.
Trust me, sometimes, Megan, do you ever think about like, what would life be like if you were like 28 years old and not married and kidless? Like, what would you be doing?
I think about it all the time. Like, what the fuck would I do?
I think about like, I mean, it's only been 10 months. I'm like, what did I use
What did
to
you do?
with my
Right.
time?
Yes. It's like that with when I had Lux even. Like, I was already a mom when I had him. But I'm like, what the hell did I even... He's only about to be 10 months as well. And like, what the hell did I do before him?
Yeah.
What did I do?
I think a whole lot of nothing.
Y'all,
And I
today,
enjoyed it.
today I woke up and I was just thinking, you know, like this is just going to be like a calm, relaxing summer day. Like it's supposed to be like a really rainy day. So I'm just going to do a few things around the house and like probably basically do nothing, to be honest. And Jackson had this grand idea that, you know, he wanted to have a play date. And I'm like, okay, so we'll try to schedule a play date. So we schedule a play date and we end up going to Chick-fil-A, which is like my second home away from home. And we play there for like over an hour. So then his friends that we're playing with, he's like, I want to go home with him for an hour. So I'm like, okay, fine. He plays with them all the time. Fine. So then I go and pick him up. Then we come home. Then the sun's shining miraculously after all day. It's not shown at all. He goes, well, the sun's shining and the pool's right there, so we must go. And I'm like, okay, awesome. So I'm going to go home, let the dog out, and take him up to the pool. So then we go to the pool, and I'm just like, it's never ending. Like, when did I have time to do like anything other than be a mom? I don't know what my life was like.
No. You forget. It's so crazy because your baby could be like 2 weeks old and you're like, what did I do before my baby was born?
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is you forget, like I've already forgotten sort of how hard those early days are and like how sick I was. It's like, I think you forget so that you will do it again. And
yeah, or everyone would be an only child.
Yes,
like Jackson. I remember.
There's a reason why Lindsay had one and done.
Oh, I don't blame you. I mean,
I was so nauseous at the first part of my pregnancy. Never like throw up sick, but just physically so nauseous. And I thought I would just faint. And I was like, oh my God, this is just terrible. Gatorade saved my life.
They should sponsor our podcast then.
They should, because I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Gatorade. And I survived off Gatorade, I swear, for like 3 months. And then I was fine. But those first 3 months, I was like, whatever you are, boy or girl, you are testing me.
Yes. I have PTSD from the first trimester because it was 2 times the hormones. And then with IVF, I had to take additional medicine and shots through 10 weeks of pregnancy. Mm-hmm. I had to do these progesterone shots, and they're literally, the needle is huge. It's horrible.
I did them so long. Oh my God. Did the one in your butt?
Yes. It's horrible.
Yeah, I did them for so long.
The needle is so scary. I was like, you're going to put what, where? Like, no, thank you. I think it makes you sicker. And
I would break out. My skin would break out from them.
Yes, same.
I think I'm sick from just hearing y'all talk about
Thinking about it.
And I didn't even do it.
Yeah, it's bad. You get these like oil bubbles underneath the skin because it's progesterone and oil, and it's bad. Horrible memories. But I threw up for 14 weeks. I'm like,
oh no.
That just sounds like a roller coaster that I don't want to ride.
I know. And then the sleepless nights. Don't take me back. please let me have some sleep. Jackson's going to Will's parents tomorrow for 3 days, 2 nights. And I haven't had a break since it's probably been like 9 weeks since he's been anywhere and done anything without me. So I'm kind of like, tomorrow, Jackson, you are going to your Papa and Baba's and mommy's going to work, but just not be like focused. Some like
peace and quiet.
Yeah, like I'm going to work quietly is basically what I'm saying. And of course I got all of my like cleaning and stuff done before he goes, so maybe I can do something like semi-remotely fun. But the weird thing is whenever he goes somewhere, then I just like sit. I don't know what to do with my time. So then I just like sit and wait for him to come back.
I know. It's crazy. Like kind of sad, but so true.
I'm just like, wow. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks
Megan,
for having me. I do also have some resources for any women going through infertility on my website. So if anybody wants to check them out, like I have a resource on how to share pregnancy news with somebody walking through infertility. So that's megansmalley.com if you want to check it out.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Well, guys, I'm so glad that we were able to talk to Megan and get her on the podcast. And I hope that she can help, with you guys. And if anyone's going through infertility or loss, check out her page, check out her podcast. And Lindsay, I'm so glad that you were able to get in touch with her.
Me too. Well, it was so good to talk to you. And I know that we have a lot of stuff to catch up on that we weren't able to catch up on for this episode, but we'll save it for next week. I want to hear about a lot of things I have questions about. So we'll just carry on that conversation later because we're out of time. So thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Make sure that you guys follow us on Coffee Convos Podcast Instagram. We're going to start hosting more giveaways. We have one that's active. By the time this episode airs, it probably won't be active anymore. But we just did a giveaway with Scentbird, and we are planning on doing more giveaways. So just stay tuned on the podcast Instagram. Hope you guys have a good week.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Babes and Babies, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.